Hello friends and welcome. Today we're taking a look at a Jakiro 4 replay. So you said you're right now uncalibrated, but looking at the wrong player right now. That recently you were Guardian 4 around there. Now as it so happens, guys, we actually have two Jakiro 4 replays sent in back to back. So I'm doing them a little out of order. We're gonna start with this one because it's lower rank, and I think that seems like a good starting point. And then we'll see the second one, and I'm hoping we'll see some improvements there. But then even, point out a couple other things to work on. And now to start, I feel like I can't play Jakiro 4. I think it gets punished a lot at higher ranks. In this, at least for this Crusader game, because it looks like a lot of your teammates were Crusader, so maybe you're a little higher than you thought. Guardian, Crusader in that area. I think you can probably get away with it. We can speed through this. Looks like snipers here at least. And an Earthshaker. So, this is kind of what I mean where, maybe you won't get punished for this stuff. Because, the heroes are kind of weird, right? You don't usually see too many DK off lanes. You don't see very many sniper carries, 5-position Earthshakers. And so, at this point, I'm okay with encouraging you to play a hero that you think you're good with. Like Jakiro, who can play both 5 and 4. And you can make that work. Versus trying to just play like meta heroes, but the meta's not so strict at this rank. So first thing I'm noticing, you started with 3 mangoes, and that usually means that you're going to cast a lot of spells. So now we finally see one cast out, but it is like 1 minute and 17, at which point, maybe we don't need these 3 mangoes so much. Maybe we can get away with like some other things, because mangoes aren't the best for Jakiro. They're a little expensive. Oops, a little creep just died there. Try to keep an eye on those. He did block the small camp. I don't know if it was strictly necessary. I think it was okay, though. It kind of guarantees that they can't pull. And it doesn't look like Dragonite was really punished for it anyways. So this is a great chance to use right here. See how this guy's kind of like walking up? If he fights you, all these creeps are going to aggro to him. This is an excellent time to use Dual Breath. And maybe you like walk over. So right now you're in the trees. So like walk over to like over here and then Dual Breath. Especially because now he's stunned. You don't need to slow him yet. Walk out, Dual Breath, and then fight this guy. See all this? I think that whole time is a good time. Like right now, just Dual Breath him and fight. You have so many creeps near you. He can't fight you. Do it! Oh. I think that's a great time for it. Anytime you can get a really good trade, anytime you are near someone who doesn't... Like, Earthshaker doesn't trade very well in terms of right clicks. Plus, you then hit him with the Dual Breath, the Liquid Fire, and you have all those creeps around you. That was an excellent chance for a fight. Even right there is also another good time. Like, let me put it that way. If it's just Earthshaker and you will win a trade. And so if you're next to each other, that is a great time to use Dual Breath. Because if he tries to stand and trade against you, I think you win a normal trade even without using any spells. So if he tries to trade you when you're using Dual Breath and Liquid Fire, you're definitely going to win. If he can identify that, he should run. And then you got to make use of the slow. And that's just when it's one-on-one. When you have your creeps nearby, like, it's golden. It is a perfect chance to fight this guy. Right here, just like Dual Breath him and fight. Haven't really used the mangoes, sitting near full mana. And honestly, I'm okay with that. It just means you didn't really need mangoes. It means you could have started with like a Clarity and saved 20 mana on one of the mangoes and maybe bought something different instead. Now, I do think position 4 Jakiro probably does need to trade a bit. So like right here, this is a good time. Again, another good chance to use Dual Breath. You're sitting at full mana. Look how he just had to run because he's out of position. If he fights you here, so right here. You see Earthshaker over to the left, which means if this guy needs to fight you guys, it's the 2 of you versus just him. And not just the 2 of you, but you've got 3 creeps, and he has the 1 ranged creep. So if he does try to fight, the creeps are going to aggro to him. If you guys try to fight, which you should, this ranged creep's going to hit you. But it's like, it's 1 ranged creep. Who cares? So this is an excellent time to ping him, use your spells, and run at him. So this is a bit of a missed opportunity. Jakiro is all about looking for effective trades with his Dual Breath and his liquid fire. Okay, let's speed up through this. This is a bit of a long game. Ooh, courier, nice. See? Okay, yeah, look at this. You see how you can just fight him? Look how well that went. Half of his health, and you are full health. He just cannot fight you. He's not a very good position 5 for this reason. But I mean, if the enemy does it, free lane if you make use of it. This, another time to use dual breath. Sniper doesn't trade that well. Look what this guy has. Shrapnel, pretty good. If he uses that, you can back off. But until he uses it, you're kind of good. And if you run out of shrapnel, like he only did like, let's say you spend 2 seconds in there. So he does like 70 damage with magic resist. You hit him with level 2 dual breath, for sure, 220 damage with the magic resist then. But as long as you don't stand in shrapnel that long, like it's very effective for you. Ooh, I like this. Great. Excellent timing. The enemy wave did show up in time, but you did get the range creep. I love the idea, though. I think it's a great idea. Absolutely look for things like that. We're going to do another pull. This is great. Perfect time to fight. And Void's here, so even better. Cool. Don't let that guy get that stack for free. No one's getting these runes. I think you can stand there. So let's go back and look at that. I know you're feeling the pressure to get runes, but picking up the rune at 5 minutes versus 6 minutes doesn't really matter. The reason you pick it up as soon as you can is because someone else might pick it up. But you just killed Earthshaker, and if we look at your perspective, you know Sniper's here, and if you can see on the minimap that their mid laner's there, which means it would be really bizarre if one of the other two, Huskar or Hoodwink, was down here to steal your runes, which means you do have a bit of time, and that means like right here, I think you can stay in the area, make sure this guy doesn't just farm this for free, and looks like he even gets a pull. I don't know if that was intentional or not. He should be using Shrapnel right here. He should be like using Shrapnel to farm all of this while the lane is up here, and that would be really good for him and really bad for you guys. This is 3 hard camps here. So you would want to stay in the area and in fact go fight him because Earthshaker's not here, and we just said you in a 1v1 against these heroes, especially now that you're level 3, can win. And then after Earthshaker spawns, then you can like leave and go pick up the runes or something. Okay, at least standing in this area to make sure you get the XP, I think is good. Yeah, kill this guy. Get him, get him, get him. Now kill that guy. Get him, get him, get him. I think you can play really aggressive this lane. Let's see, you're going for arcane boots. I think this is fine. You got your boots. Nice stun. Now we look for this guy. Oh, is he crazy? He's still standing out there when Void's here? Yeah, get out of here. I kind of think Void could have stayed and you guys pressure this tower. Right now, I think that's what you should be thinking about. Look how many... Look at your creeps. You've got 2 range, 3 range creeps, 3 melee creeps, and this catapult. Right now, you want to liquid fire this tower so your creeps die. And I would be okay... Yeah, especially because you still have your mangoes. You have all of these. I think it's okay to throw out the dual breath to kill this wave faster so that your creeps will start hitting the tower a little sooner. You're probably not going to get this, especially with Sniper alive and this Earthshaker TPing in, but this is a good time to pressure it. And I think it would be okay to do that. Because it gets killed off, we're not going to get too much tower damage. In fact, let's take a look real quick. So not too bad, like a little, I don't know, like a fifth. But I do think it could be a little more if you kill that wave pretty quickly. Of course, once Sniper shrapnels, it does kind of kill the aggression a little bit. But maybe he doesn't, and if you kill the wave, then, you know, that's pretty good for you. I like that you bought a Clarity. We still have this mango here, so you kind of see, like, if you're buying mangoes as a starting item, it means you're going to use them pretty quickly. It's what you should aim for. If the enemy screws up and you end up not needing the mangoes, it's okay. Or you encounter a situation you didn't expect, that's okay. But generally, if you're buying mangoes to start, you plan to use them a lot, you plan to dual breath a lot, things like that. If you don't plan to do that, then you don't really need to get so many mangoes. Some heroes that do get a lot of mangoes, Disruptor, Lich. Why? Because they cast their spells a lot, and they try to win the lane by harassing you out right away. Jakiro, a hero where you don't really want to dual breath too much until level 3. which means that you can buy the mangoes later. You can buy them as you're like level 2.5 and you're getting close to 3 and you're like, wow, I want to spam out my spell now. You could get it then if you want. I think 1 mango, maybe 2, not too bad. This positioning, super dangerous. You should dive. Yeah. So really the question is, why did we do this? You know this guy's chasing you, and he won't kill you. So for one, you could just stand here and fight him. It's just the Earthshaker. You shouldn't be scared. But if you really don't want to fight him, you just want to back away, then just walk back to your tower. Or if you want to walk to this Dragonite, then walk this way. Because if you think about it, what's more dangerous? This way or this way? If you think about like what he does with Fissure, cutting you off. This way, where the angle can be cut off with a Fissure, like we saw. Or like that. Or would we walk this way, where he's right behind you? Like, how does he really cut off this angle? He would have to like run up here and then Fissure this way. And at that point, you're already out. So this was just, I don't know. You were like running away from him. Didn't really need to. But then also, if you want to, you need to choose the safer path. Okay, TPing down here again. I don't really mind, because let's see, what do I want from this? Nice. All right, you guys should be able to get this tower. I want to see you go pressure that tower. Catapult wave, you guys are like fairly strong here. Echo. Yeah, pressure, pressure. Earthshaker kill. Catapult still alive. Let's go. I don't know if you're saying it, but you should. You should tell your team, I want to take this tower right now. Let's take a look at your team real quick. Okay, you are the lowest level. I don't know if you double checked. Just make sure you do. Position 4 doesn't always get the tome. I mean, usually it's the position 5, but it should be whoever needs to hit 6. And in this case, you were like almost 6 when you picked up that tome. So in that case, you just need to get a bit more experience. You don't really need it. But where'd your catapult? Your catapult died? That's sad. In this case, it's fine. The other guy was ahead of you. And if you guys are equal, I'm okay with you taking it, honestly, because you're Jakiro. And with more levels, it's better. I would max out this dual breath first, unless you plan to pressure with this liquid fire. Nice stack. I like that. Unless you plan to pressure with this a lot, I honestly still feel like it's not that worth it. I think you could probably kill him right there. You're sitting at full mana. If you don't kill him, at least hit him with the dual breath. That's like, it could be 440 damage. For now, it's 330 damage. The scaling on this is just pretty good. For 10 more mana, you get 110 extra damage. That's really good. You just see sniper left. Good. I'm pretty sure that was your pinging. So let's take this. It's kind of hard with the shrapnel. That's why as soon as he leaves, you gotta like go real quick. So you end up coming up here. This is a little weird. So why'd you TP up here? So you see 3. Okay, I don't mind. This is too far up though. You want to imagine that Timbersaw's your frontliner, and so you want them to go on the Timbersaw because that makes it easier for you to set up your AoE stuns and all your abilities. When you walk up here, it becomes weird. You're a backline support now in front of the tanky frontliner. So like, see, this is actually a perfect example. How on earth do you ever hit like 2 or 3 of these heroes with any of your spells? It's so hard. But imagine if you were further back and Timbersaw was in front and you're like standing over here. Well, now it becomes easier to like line up the ice path to hit 2 heroes and then the macro pyre and things like that. So you see it like ended up really awkward the way the positioning worked. Good time to dual breath right there. What is this guy going? What kind of blade mail? Okay. On one hand, I don't hate the rotation. On the other hand, I think this is the kind of game where maybe you just focus on pushing down a lane. But right now, this isn't too bad. All right, you're going to mango stun this guy. And you're going to get him. Okay, okay. So you are maxing liquid fire. If you've watched the Jakiro guide, I don't know if it came out before you submitted this or not, then you know that I don't think this is necessary, especially when you have a Dragonite on your team. But for the kind of game we're seeing, maybe we can make this work. So for this to work, you need to keep hitting buildings, though. So let's see it. This positioning, kind of dangerous. Okay, you're going to go ward now instead. Okay. If you're going to put both, put the sentry first so that you can double check to make sure there's nothing there. And then put the ward. If you put the sentry and see they have a ward, then, I mean, if you take out their ward and then you put your observer, they're going to know it's there. So usually if you find a ward, you go put your ward somewhere else. Okay. 3 heroes down here. Let's look for something. That's a little awkward. See, you're a little too close. You don't need to come in like this. Stay away. Slow down. So this is your shortest range ability. This, and this, and this. You see how far you can cast it? So there's like no real need to walk up. You barely missed this stun. I'm not going to, yeah, you know you missed it. So there's nothing, we don't really need to complain too much. But you see how you're like walking in? You don't really need to. If you want to go on this DP, you can hit her perfectly fine from up over this like tree, right? And it's much safer for you. Now when you walk in, there's like nowhere else for you to go but further. And as you see, you get surrounded and killed. So that death, definitely avoidable if you just stand back a little further and position a little differently. I think you're doing item management. There's a fight going on, and you're like not seeing it. Okay, now we're looking again. Try to keep an eye on the fight, because look, you respawn with your teleport. You could come join this fight again, but you're missing some information because you didn't quite see what was going on. Looks like you're undecided. Looks like you're gonna end up walking here. Walking mid. Looks like it's fine. I may have still TP'd bottom though, because it still looked like you had a lot of heroes there. It looks like it's gonna work out for us. You decide to go Tranquil Boots. Usually if you're gonna go Arcane Boots, you disassemble them and build the Aether before getting the Tranquils. And especially because you have a Tango, I'm not 100% sure. I don't know why you built the Tranquils first. I don't know if there was a reason you saw that I didn't. But I kind of think if you're going to go Arcanes, you just go straight for the Aether. Find a sniper kill here. Easy. Liquid fire that. Sir, you leveled this up. You got to hit the tower with it. It works through fortification. You don't have to wait. And you want the seconds to start going down. Also, you went like 3-1-3, and then you chose to finish the dual breath. If you're going that far on the liquid fire, you gotta get the last point, because the last point is really value. It makes it 4 seconds. That's why I like the first point of liquid fire, really good. The fourth point, really good. The middle two, not so good. So it's weird that you like started leveling it up, but then left it at the like third point instead of the fourth. Yeah, you see how much easier it is to hit when like you have people in front and you just follow along the back? Yeah, you do. So that's what you want to try. Some of those earlier ones were like a little awkward in terms of positioning. Nice ice path to cut people off. You're going to give the rune to your mid. Nice guy. Looks like you're running to get your Void Stone. So you could sell your Tango. Looks like you ate it. You don't really need to eat the Tango at this point because you got Tranquils. I know it's only like 12 gold you get back, but 12 gold, you know, so. I think it would commit Macro Pyre there, actually. Oops. Some missed spells. I think that Earth Shaker, you could definitely commit the Macro Pyre for sooner. We got a lot of dragons and birds on this team. I'm not seeing you use... So far, you've like put all your wards and sentries on there. You can make use of the Ice Path. I know right now you're a little low on mana. So like in this case, I think it's fine. But I do want to point it out that Ice Path does give you high ground vision. So you can put your sentries on the low ground. Ice Path up there. Check if they have anything. If they don't, if you still want to put your ward up there, that's fine. Or you can go put your ward somewhere else. Okay, great. You kill. Now you can liquid fire this a bunch. I would say, by the way, I'll mention it now. I think this is a typical game. If you're playing position 4, maybe if you were playing position 4, it is more okay to get liquid fire though. Nice ice path. Maybe it is fine. Because you're kind of doing what the position 4 should do. You're like pushing it out, you're pressuring towers a little bit, or at least trying to. I kind of think with a Timber Saw, he's the kind of hero who's like just needs stuns. Then again, the way this game's going has like allowed you to push a bit, and I'm like kind of okay with what you're doing too. Now, I haven't played it too much. I feel like something you could consider, you see how like even with this Aether Lens, you're still running low on mana? Ever since they nerfed Dual Breath, it costs more than it used to. I'm kind of a big fan of the Tranquil Soul Ring build, and especially as a position 4. If you still want to max Liquid Fire, I think it's like, go for it, give it a shot. But I think you could Tranquil Soul Ring, Dual Breath, max this out, and then you can constantly cast Dual Breath to farm as the position 4, pushing waves, farming camps. Who cares? You're position 4, you get 2. I think that would let you get more gold and be a little greedier. Let's see where you are in the net worth. Yeah, you're a little lower. If you use this Soul Ring Tranquils build and like farmed up a bit, you could like jump up a bit. I don't quite know if this is a game you need to have Aether Lens. It's kind of nice because Sniper's going to be far back. But well, as a general item, it's probably fine. What would be good? It's kind of weird. You don't have like a real carry on your team, to be honest. And they sort of do. That might be the issue on why you guys lose. If you want to run this kind of draft, I mean, obviously, I know you didn't like tell your teammates what to pick. But I think, especially if you're playing like Jakiro with his max liquid fire, and you can see that, oh, we don't like have the best scaling, you kind of need to try to win a little sooner. And this right now is pretty risky. It looks like you're going to die here. TPing out. Oh, very close. Good call to TP out, because otherwise I'm pretty sure you die. I honestly thought you were going to die anyways. I thought that Earthshaker would stun you in time. What's going on? This is a game. You guys are really far ahead. 9k at 24 minutes means you guys should just like group and push down a lane, and you shouldn't really care. So right now I see a lot of like solo stuff going on, and I think that you have liquid fire. You should just tell your team like, just go down and let me poke buildings down. I would get like the I would get the shard, and you and Dragonite just poke towers down, and if they jump, then you guys like chill. What'd you take for your talents? Attack range. I'm fine with attack range. If you're the 4, you can also consider the spell amp. Let's see what happened here. I would kite more to the right. Like after you get that kill, you're moving here to the left. I would move to the right. You're also like, I don't know if this is a misclick or what, but like your spells are really long. So like you can already hit her. From all the way over here, you can hit her, but you're like still walking over. And I'm not sure if it was like a misclick, but I'm seeing a couple positioning mistakes this game so far. Pathing and general positioning is getting you killed a couple times here. Looks like the fight is sort of working out for you guys. Maybe not now, though. Okay, 4 for 4. That honestly favors the enemy team, though. Sounds like an even trade. Can we see this fight recap? I never use this. It looks even on this, too. But if you think about it, you guys are 9k up. So does it make sense that you take an even fight? Not really. And part of the reason you guys took an even fight was because you died really quickly, and you didn't really get any of your abilities off. And that was because you were positioned on the wrong side for where you guys were standing. It's like, where can the enemy come from? The left or the bottom. So where should I be? I should be more to like the top right and let my other teammates go in the front. Oops. Got this. liquid fire build, but then we haven't really gotten to use it. We aren't really like pushing down the lanes. So like this is kind of weird. Like what are we doing? Just like diving T4s for what? Okay, you chose to whoa, that was scary. You chose to liquid fire this tower. This guy's killing Phoenix. You gotta slow his attack speed down. Barely works out. But yeah, this liquid fire slows down attack speed by 60. You gotta apply it to the hero to protect him. Yeah, we're doing some weird stuff, losing some fights. All that really needs to happen, and it could have happened like 8 minutes ago, is you guys just walk in a straight line. Because you don't have a real carry. You don't even need to make space. You just like actually need to go and start taking buildings. And you have a Dragon Knight and a Jakiro who can do it. A Jakiro that max liquid fire, which usually I would say is not ideal, but like this game, it could have worked. But so far, you haven't really gotten to use it that much. Oops. Oh! Yeah, you don't need to throw it on top of the guy. You need, because they have a lot of ranged heroes. You need to throw it like more. Oh, I wouldn't do this. Yeah. Get out. You need to throw it more to like where they would come from. So like, if he gets stunned here and you throw the ice path on top of him, like they're all ranged besides this guy, and maybe this guy blinks on top, but he might just fissure first too. So really, if you want to throw an ice path to protect the Void who's been stunned here, you got to throw it like out here where all the ranged heroes would be like approaching from to hit him there. In this case, he would have died anyways because he got killed by the Hoodwink ult. You're kind of just going support items. I mean, yeah, but like, I think if you play Jakiro position 4, it's okay to be a little greedier, especially with, well, maybe not with your lineup, but I think you can be a little greedier with Jakiro 4 and look for some damage items. Yules is just good in general on Jakiro, and in this game, it's like not too bad, especially if like Huskar's jumping in. Spirit Vessel's a little weird for you to get. I think someone else should do that, like the Phoenix. You have a decent amount of magic damage on your team. You could get a Veil this game. I usually don't love Atos, but like you could get it this game, especially if you're position 4. I think it's like you're gonna have levels, you're gonna have damage. If you Atos this sniper, Macropyre, Dual Breath, and then Ice Path before Atos ends, he's gonna die. I actually think he'll just straight up die. Same with this Hoodwink. Incredible. Nice. Exactly. All right, what's going on here? Nice little pause. So what are you buying? You're buying your Yules now? Yeah, so like this Glimmer Cape is a little, this is like a 5 position item, you know? I mean, it's not bad in this game, but if you're going to do that, you could play like, you know, different heroes essentially. If you're Jakiro 4 is about getting a good amount of damage and items faster. Like that's why Jakiro 4 is different from Jakiro 5. It's because like as a 5, you're not usually allowed to farm that much. As a 4, you can get to farm that much. So it's weird to like get a bunch of farm and then use it to buy like really basic defensive items. Usually you want to push that advantage, buy items like Veil, which then let your higher levels and more magic damage be amplified even further. Or the Atos, you have more levels, more damage. Atos lets you then get kills to like push that advantage. Glimmer doesn't really help you do that, and in a sense, neither does the Aether Lens really. But Aether Lens, I'm more okay with. That's why I think I like that Soul Ring build into like Veil, maybe the Shard. This game I would go Shard, because your team is trying to end faster, and I think you should get the Shard. Looks your team just died. Should we see if they needed to TP? Let's go check. So for one, you aren't even looking, so it's definitely good to let's work on some map awareness there. So like this whole fight's going on, and you just kind of push. So even if you choose to push, that might be the right decision, but we can only make that decision with more information. So let's slow down, let's come up and look. Yeah, this fight looks kind of bad. I probably wouldn't fight here. So I'd do what you're doing, keep pushing. But I can now make that decision because I looked and I gathered information and I decided. You kind of just like pushed. Maybe you're looking at your mini-map, but it's still good to take a look, see what spells are being used, stuff like that. I would probably like dual breath one more wave there. Try to get it into the high ground. Like, see, still no one showing up yet. So I do think... Imagine if they ran... And in fact, actually, we can just see it. We can see it. So, like, here you get scared. The fight just ends here, though, as you take this tower. You have a lot of creeps, which means someone has to respawn. And because that fight went on, we didn't watch the very beginning, but it's a good chance that some people TP'd up here for the fight. And at this point, you know, maybe we should try to get some high ground damage out of it because our team's all dead. Or at least force someone to rotate back so that they can't just do like Roshan right now or take this tower and take a second tower. Like, you need to force people back. But based on the timing of when this ends, like, this big creep wave actually balances outside their base. And this means that, you know, probably until like 25 seconds is a random guess. 25 seconds, no one needs to be here. 33:25 is what I mean. So like, that gives them time to run down, to do Roshan, to do something, and you are not punishing them for it. So if you dual breath this wave, it dies in like 4 seconds, and then all your creeps come up and start hitting this tower, and then maybe you liquid fire once or twice. And so let's watch. You walked away here. So like, we get this. So you could have then walked here, dual breath, and then right now the creep wave is dead. And then you can wait a little bit. So if we look at your just your vision. Oops, just your vision, which, there we go. It's weird, right? So they won the fight, but only DP showing top. So if someone TP'd here, it should have happened already, which means they could be walking. And if you have a good sense of how fast people can walk, you know that they're not going to be here yet. You have a couple more seconds. But I would want to see, like, I can't see if they're TPing here right now. So, like, I would wait after you dual breath, like, wait over here to see if these creeps walk up, they give you vision, and then you can see, oh, no one TP'd. Then you walk up, liquid fire once, and then maybe, like, glimmer cape away, because if someone's walking, now is around the time that they should show up. And you know that no one's TPing in because your creep showed. But because it just, like, stays here, this Earthshaker has time to walk here, and they didn't take any tower damage at all. So, like, if you didn't rotate for the fight, sure, but you need to get something out of it. I know you got this tier 2, but, like, you could have probably chipped down this tier 3 to, like, a fourth of it off of the health left. Or not left, it would have, like, 3/4 or, like, 4/5 health left. But that's something. And if you want that shard build, it'd be at, like, half health. Alright, so now we're going to defend this. I like it. Macro Pyre. That'll kill off all the creeps. And then you back up. All for it. I would try to, like, stay here, maybe. It depends how scared you feel. But I think if you stay around here, you can get some of the XP. Although there is a hoodwink in the game. That's something I haven't had to deal with too much. But I guess you can run through the trees. So maybe what you're doing was fine there. Yeah, so if you're going to go the dual breath burn damage, I do think perhaps the 6 spell amp might be worth it. Having said that, I still am a big fan of the attack range talent. And against sniper, I actually think your talents are fine. I'll say it. In other games where they don't have such good high ground defense, like, I'm scared of their high ground defense because there's this huge echo and there's a sniper. So that's why I want attack range. But in other games, if I'm playing position forward Jakiro, I think maybe the spell ant would be a little better. Let me swap that in for the smoke, unless you plan to use it soon. Maybe you are. Because you're so close to Yules, I kind of think you could have farmed up a bit. This guy's having a rough game. All right, we got a kill. Got a bunch of these. So see, there's another. You could use Ice Path to check this. In this case, I actually don't mind if you ward up here, but just don't feel limited to. I just feel like so far I've not seen you Ice Path the high ground once. Is why I'm pointing it out. You guys need to pick a lane and go. Actually, I don't mind that you split, but now that you're at high ground, I want you guys to pick a lane. Hello? You've got the liquid fire and the attack range talent. You want to be nearby. So isn't this... So you see how, like... Because you walk top, you now end up in this angle where you got the 2 hits, but then you had to macro pyre, and now they walk this way. Whereas, what if you had stayed over here while your team hits? First off, you're also using liquid fire on this to keep your catapult alive, and then you're like, so you walk up, liquid fire. You can hit it from about here with the attack range talent. You back off, and you wait like here, and then when this happens, because you're here, easy triple ice path and a macro pyre that blocks. Like, they have to run through that. Any reinforcements that come in need to run through macro pyre. If these guys want to back out, they have to run up like this way, which is a little awkward, or they run through macro pyre. So like right here, immediately already out of macro pyre, and hoodwink, not bothered at all by your spells. But if you had stayed down here with your team instead of trying to like walk back and forth, and this is why your team needed to coordinate a bit, and you also need to like pick one where you want to be. If you had like stayed over here, I think you would have had some better spells, and this tower would be lower. Looks like you're going to die now. Maybe you still die if you had positioned differently, but I promise it'll at least go better for you. It's kind of weird to stay here, I feel like. Oh, I can't believe that went off. It shouldn't be this close, though, right? You guys were like 9k up at 20 minutes or something. 22 minutes or whatever it was. So this is, I see what you mean in your comment. Like, your team, you all, like, threw a little bit your advantage. I think it's a little late for a Spirit Vessel. If no one else got a Spirit Vessel at this point, like, I guess we're not playing without a Spirit Vessel. That's just kind of how it goes. The Spirit Vessel at this point, like, if you look at him, all right, he doesn't have anything. Other people should have like a BKB or a Manta or something right now. I feel like he's having kind of a rough game. But once he has the BKB, the Spirit Vessel doesn't do anything. So the Spirit Vessel kind of needs to be a fast purchase before, because the cores don't want to buy first item BKB. It sucks to do that. They want to buy these other items, and so then it's like the Spirit Vessel gets to work. If you buy a Spirit Vessel now, it's like too late. It's like other stuff already. So instead, how about the Shard? I think the Shard would be good. What else? You're position 4, so like, honestly, you could get the Aghanims if you wanted to. You could get like a Scythe if you think you're really farmed. Stun into Scythe into stun is pretty powerful, and someone's sitting in your macro pyre for like 6 seconds at that point. I wouldn't stand in here. It's easier. Again, it's easier for you to line up the spells if you're outside. You can dual breath it from outside the pit. I would try to put this. Okay, so where are you worried? So he's dead right now, but when he's not dead, what you would be worried about is that an Earthshaker's like right here, and then he like ags in. What's he have? Yeah, he has the blink. So it's like he ags, jumps down, blinks in, ults. And I think he can just blink ult even too. It's a little close. I'm not 100% sure. The point is you need to see the high ground. You're all standing here. You don't really need a ward here. You put the ward up here when you have time earlier. And that way, hey, you'd see like all these 3 heroes here. Again, some dangerous positioning, but this is good. This direction. Let's start over, though. So one, you're like, I don't know, you're over there. I think that's a little... I think you were pushing in mid, but you don't have to. You need to stand like here where my mouse is. This is safer to be in up there. Just the path, because where are they gonna fight from? They're gonna fight from here. And that means if you're standing here, Ice Path and Macro Pyre are easier to land this way. And that's if they like run up to the pit. If you're here, your team's here, and they stay up here, then it's like, okay, I don't really care because you're not fighting. So now you're out here, and this angle is like good, but you're in the front, and your team is like here. So that's not great. And you end up getting saved because your teammate then jumps in. Try to macro pyre. This is very nitpicky. Macro pyre a little more to the right. You see how it's like going into the cliff side here a little bit, and it's like no one can even physically stand in the cliff. Whereas if you move it a bit more to the right, then you block this entire ramp, and it would still hit most of what you needed to hit there. Okay. Fight looks great for you guys right now. Triple buyback. Maybe we stayed a little too long, though. I'm glad you're keeping up with the fight this time. All right, so we end up losing Roche. This could have been a good chance for you to buy back, I think. Especially when it, like... At first, I thought you guys wouldn't need to, but then you guys split up a bit, and... maybe as the enemy team buys back and it starts to look like you're not going to get Roche in time, I think maybe it's okay for you to buy back there and kind of guarantee you're getting it. Your buyback to secure Roshan when they just spend a bunch of buybacks is fine. Now you guys smoke. Timber's not here, though. You kind of want that guy to go in the front. You see how, like, you're... Like, what if you ran into people here? It sucks, right? You want this guy to be in the front with the Shadow Blade and open up so that they then jump the DK and you land all your AoE spells after that. Oops. Okay, let's do this slower. So you see how you're like moving in. You're like near the front and this guy's in the back. You don't want that. You want to be further back. Like back this way. So let's switch to Dire Vision. That way, so if you were further back, you would then get to choose. You see how they line up and you see, oh, there's 3 heroes here. I now like walk this way and macro pyre ice path this way. But because you're like so up front, it's like harder, and yeah, you still sort of can, but it's like harder to get the angle you want. The further back you are, usually the easier it is to line up AoE stuns. Now you are getting multiple hits with all your spells now, so that part's good. Fight's looking good. You guys win this or lose this? I thought you lost. But the way it's currently looking, I feel like you should win. Okay, great. Don't you win? You win. Oh, yeah. Okay, it looks like you do win. I guess I misunderstood. Or maybe not. I guess we'll just see. I think that having the shard here would be way better than having this urn and whatever you're... I think you're bringing the rest of the spirit vessel, but like I don't think it matters. Like you guys clearly have the damage to kill Huskar at this point, right? So you don't really need it. I think the shard would help you guys actually end the game faster here. Okay, just repeat, go bottom. What neutrals are there, by the way? Cast range. Yeah, cast range is pretty good. Timeless Relic is also pretty good on Jakiro, but if someone else wants it, it's fine. Like right now, you guys are opening yourselves up to get picked off. There's no real reason. The 5 of you should just go together and push bottom. You have 2 wards, by the way, and look at like you're winning, but your map is so dark. So to make the game easier on yourselves, like know what's going on, like make sure you place these wards. Okay, we're kind of with the team now. Let's all go somewhere. Top. Okay. You guys don't really have to smoke to find a play. You guys can just, like, go down a line. Oops. Wait. Okay. Let's do this slower. So right now, as a fight breaks out, oh, you put it away. At this point of the game, I think vision is more important than this wand. So I would have the wand and the observers swapped, and then I would put a ward on this high ground for this fight so that you can see better. Because anytime you can see more in a fight, usually it's then easier to make decisions. So that's one thing. Then this macro pyre, I think it's okay, but I think putting it this way is better. Like, you are hitting like these two technically, but I think if you put it this way, then I don't know how to explain it, but it's like cutting off more of the path. Right now, like, these two will just move to the left, and then they can potentially disengage towards the left. Whereas if you put the macro pyre this way, it's like harder for them to do so. And then like after you cast your spells, you're like walking in. I guess part of it was to Yule's the Huskar, but he isn't really an issue at this point in the game. I think you want to like back off instead of walking in all the time. It's like too scary. You're gonna push in the mid wave. How did he end up here? What the heck? Where did he come from? I'm so confused. Oh, from the... I missed that. I just suddenly saw an Earthshaker fall out of nowhere. Alright, Sniper should be dead here. Good Ice Path. Alright, looks like you guys are gonna clean up the game now. Okay. So. I don't want to nitpick too many things. I just want to hit you with a couple things to consider. Your question is like, how can you make this game easier for your team and all that? But really, I want to think on like an even bigger picture, which is that one, your positioning could use a bit of work. We saw some examples in the lane, but also team fights where you're just going out a little too far and you're a little too close. You are Jakiro, you're a backline support. That means you should have people in the front. People like your Void Spirit, your DK, your Timbersaw. These are excellent frontliners. So just stand further back, let them be in the front, and then you can land your spells easier, and you won't die as much because you're not, like, there was at least two that come to mind, and I'm pretty sure probably more of them. You didn't have to die if you positioned differently. But because of the way you positioned, you ended up dying. And of course, anytime you don't die, that's generally good for the game. So that's number one thing to think about to keep up your positioning. Then if you're playing position for Jakiro, the itemization we talked about, I think you should go, if you want Guardian Greaves because your team doesn't have auras, that's fine. Position for Jakiro gets to do it because he gets to farm up a decent amount. I'm also okay with this Tranquil Soul Ring build up into whatever else, into like a Veil, Atos, Shard, Yules, even the Aether Lens, honestly. Just if you don't plan on getting the Greaves, I really do like the Tranquils and the Soul Ring to be able to spam out Dual Breath. And then conceptually, again, if you're going to max Liquid Fire, which in these type of games, I think it's kind of okay. But if you're going to do it, it means that you're looking to pressure towers early. If you don't do that, you might as well have maxed Ice Path instead first. So your items and your skill build should match your playstyle. It sounds obvious. Like, it really does. But if you think about it, a lot of the times it doesn't happen. Like, you bought those 3 mangoes. The itemization means that I plan to cast Dual Breath a lot in this early game. And then you didn't do that. Which means if in your mind you know, no, I'm not going to cast Dual Breath that much. I'm going to try to save it for level 3 when it's much more cost efficient. And I'll kind of play a little passively, poke a bit here and there. You don't need 3 mangoes because that's not what mangoes are for. You're playing passive and kind of avoiding. That's like Windlace Clarity's kind of territory, and maybe a couple stats, maybe a stick, maybe a Sage's Mask. Those are more like passive items to like wait it out till 3 minutes and then go. Mangoes are like, oh yeah, we're on right now, level 1, let's go, bam, spam them out. So those are mangoes, but then same with like your later items. Like you're playing position 4, but then you're going for like tranquils, aether into like glimmer, which is like very position 5. So if you were gonna do that, we could have just been position 5. Which in this case you did have a Phoenix who was kind of playing more like a 4. So there's that. And if you still feel like you need to play as a position 5, even though you're in the 4 role, that's okay. But if your goal is to play like position 4 Jakiro, I think you want your items to reflect that a bit more. Trying to make use of dual breath early damage, trying to poke towers sooner if you're getting liquid fire levels. But you were kind of like roaming around a little too much to really make use of the liquid fire. You are farming like this is a decent amount of farm, but then these are just like all position 5 items. If you wanted a spirit vessel, I would have been okay with that. That needs to be your first item. And if it's not your first item, then you probably just skip it. By the time you got it, it was kind of unnecessary. So yeah, that's what I want to highlight this game, and I don't want to like fine tooth comb everything. Like at this level, let's focus on bigger picture ideas for now. Okay, that's it. Thanks for watching, guys. The next one is probably not the same day or anything, but we're gonna do a legend. I forget what rank he was. Legend something Jakiro position 4. So there, I'm hoping we'll see some improvements, and then we'll get to pick out more things to improve on from there. So it's like this nice little ladder step kind of thing. I like that. Okay, now thank you for watching. Bye, guys.